Hello, welcome back or to my channel. My name is Sarah and today I'm going to be doing the end of year book tag. I'm so excited to be doing this. I'm going to be changing it slightly. Instead of doing 3 books that I want to read by the end of the year, I'm going to be doing 10 books I want to read by the end of the year because I have been seeing people doing 10 before the end or something like that. And obviously I have more than 3 books that I want to read before the end of the year. So we're gonna be a little bit ambitious in this video, but like what's new? So yeah, let's get into it. The first question is, are there any books you started this year that you need to finish? So I don't normally start books and then set them down and just not finish them unless I'm saying, oh, I'll come back to this later, when really I'm not gonna come back to it later. But I do actually have a couple. So I am in the middle, I'm actively reading this right now. Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. So I am participating in the House of Maas along that the Roomies Digest and Sarah Shelves, Catherine Zofrey, and Stephanie Bookish are hosting, and this is the book that I'm on. I'm a little bit behind. They did have a live show for this already. So once I finish this, I'm gonna watch that and then continue on. But I'm about 100 pages in, so about 1/6 of the way through, but I'm liking it so far. I mean, I'm not liking necessarily what's happening, but I'm enjoying reading this series, and so I'm excited to get through this one, and because I know this is a lot of people's favorites, I think, so yeah, I'm excited to get through this. And then I also earlier this year started reading The Fellowship of the Ring, and I was reading it on audio, and it got returned, so I was reading it on Libby, and the audiobook got returned. I was taking too long, and I just, for whatever reason, didn't want to switch to the physical book, even though I have it, and I have like my place marked and everything. So I'm just waiting to get the audiobook back because Andy Serkis was the one narrating, and I was really enjoying it that way, so I'm just gonna wait until I get that back. So that might not happen at the end of this year, but this is one that I have not finished. And then this book, I'm like ashamed that I'm still reading it. I really don't know what it is, and it has nothing to do with the book, I don't think, but it's The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. So I read The Serpent and the Wings of Night earlier this year and loved it. Like I still think about that book from time to time, but and I'm liking this book as well, but it's taking me so long to get through it. And I'll pick it up and I'll read a few pages and I'll absolutely love what I read, and be so intrigued, and I love reading about these characters, but I don't know what it is. I can't sit down and read it for like an extended period of time and make my way through it. So I will finish this by the end of the year. I am determined. Okay, the next question is, do you have an autumnal book to transition into the end of the year? And I have a few. The first one is The Unmaking of June Farrow by Adrienne Young. I haven't read an Adrienne Young book before, but I know that her previous book, I think Spells for Forgetting, was really popular. It says, in the small mountain town of Jasper, North Carolina, June Farrow is waiting for fate to find her. The Farrow women are known for their thriving flower farm and for their mysterious curse that has plagued their family line. So this sounds autumnal. It sounds a little bit fantasy, maybe like light fantasy. I'm not really sure, but I love the cover. I like the sound of it. I feel like I'll probably like it. So that is the first kind of autumnal one. The next one is This Spells Love, which does sort of seem more like an October book maybe, but I don't know, if I can fit it in November, then that seems good. It says, a young woman tries to heal her heartbreak by casting a spell to erase her ex from her past, but wakes up in an alternate reality in which she's lost more than she wished for in this witty, whimsical friends to lovers debut. So I think she forgets her best friend by accident. So this is kind of giving the X-Hex, but I'm hoping I'll like it more than the X-Hex because I don't know, I was kind of disappointed by that book. So I'm hoping this will be kind of more up my alley, and it sounds cute, and the cover is really cute. So I'm looking forward to that. And then the next one is You Again, another book of the month book, and honestly, just this cover really, it just is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. I love the leaves, and I'm excited to get into this. I've heard it compared to When Harry Met Sally. I love a romance, and I think it's just gonna be fall, autumnal vibes. Okay, the next question is there a new release you're still waiting for? And I guess because I had to look up what else was coming out in the rest of the year, I would have to say kind of not, just because there's so much already on my TBR that I really want to get to. But I did find a couple. So Technically Yours by Denise Williams. I read Falling For You, I think is what it's called. I read that earlier this year, and I thought it was really cute, by Denise Williams. So Technically Yours is her new release. And then I saw one called Raiders of the Lost Heart. I thought that was so cute, and the cover is adorable. I'll try to put it here. But it's obviously like Indiana Jones kind of, so I'm very intrigued by that. I probably won't get to these at the end of this year, let's be honest, but probably next year, but it's good to have them on my radar. So those sound cute to me. Okay, I'm gonna jump questions, and we're gonna do, is there a book you think could still shock you and become your favorite book of the year? So I don't think this would shock me if I loved it, because I've heard nothing but good things, but it would maybe shock me if it became my favorite book of the whole year. So that is Vampires of El Norte by Isabel Cañas. I haven't read her previous book, but I have heard, like I said, really great things about this one. I think the only negative things I've heard is that it had more romance than people might have expected, but that is not a bad thing to me. So I always love a romance when it pops up, even in a book that you might not be expecting it in. So I love the cover, again, stunning, and the story just really intrigues me. I think the main character, or the main woman in the story, the man thinks that she has died and they were friends as children, but then they reunite later on, and there are vampires as well, but maybe not exactly the kind that you would expect. So I'm very excited for this. I think it'll be great. We'll see if it's my new favorite of the year. Okay, next we have, what are 3 books you want to read before the end of the year? And like I said, I'm gonna do 10, but really it's more because all of the previous ones that I've listed that I haven't read yet, I would also love to get to, but this is my official list of 10, so we'll see how well this goes. First of all, I picked up a Christmassy romance. It's called Snowed In for Christmas. I don't read a ton of Christmassy books around Christmas. Usually I pick like maybe 1 or 2. Last year I read In a Holidays, which was such a success, and I also read one that was about twins, and it felt like a Hallmark movie, and it was pretty cute as well. I'll try to find it, but yeah, so this one I just found at Barnes & Noble. It says, the weather outside is frightful, but inside things are heating up in this sexy holiday romantic comedy. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. Oh, there's a football coach. Okay, and he's grumpy. Okay, yes, that's why I picked it up. The next one, I bought this, I don't know, earlier this year. It's The Neighbor Favor by Christina Forrest. I've been meaning to read this since I bought it. It just looks like a romance that I have really good feelings about. I think it has to do with books. Yeah, it says, shy, bookish, and admittedly awkward, Lily Green has always felt inadequate compared to the rest of her accomplished family, who strive for Black excellence. She dreams of becoming a children's book editor, but she's been frustratingly stuck in the nonfiction division for years without a promotion in sight. So I'm not gonna read the rest of that, but I love books that talk about books, and I love a romance, and I just feel like I haven't really heard anything bad about this, so I'm really excited to get to this one. I hope I can do it before the end of the year. Another one is The Connollys of County Down. This is by Tracy, I think it's Lang. She wrote We Are the Brennans, which I just loved so much. And so this is her follow-up. I'm excited to get to it. I hope it's as good. The next one is The Half Moon by Mary Beth Keane. Another book of the month. Another one that sort of gave We Are the Brennans vibes. I have good feelings about this one, but just have not made time for it, so I'm hoping I can get to it. Next are these three books, or these three books. Like I said, I'm participating in the House of Mass along. It's been such a fun time. So I can't remember, there's a whole schedule for our reading. And like I said, I'm also behind. These two are what I'm going to be reading after Queen of Shadows, and I'm going to be tandem reading them, which I've never done before. There's a whole chart that says like read 3 chapters in this book and then read 2 chapters in this book, and then you switch back and forth, and it's crazy. But I'm excited to do it because I think it's just gonna be fun, and this whole thing has just been really fun. So I can't remember the schedule and if this book is supposed to be read by the end of this year or if it's going to go into January, but I'm really just trying to get as far as I can in the series because then I get to reread A Court of Thorns and Roses, and that's just going to be a fun time because I haven't reread those books since I initially read them last year. So that is something I'm very much looking forward to. The next couple books I'm hoping to read by the end of the year, or I kind of have to read by the end of the year because they are book club books for Christine and Mo's book clubs, are The Friend Zone by Abby Jimenez. So far I've read Part of Your World, Yours Truly, and The Happy Ever After playlist. Absolutely loved Part of Your World and Yours Truly. The Happy Ever After playlist was a wild time. I'm not going to say all of my thoughts here, but it just covered so much. Like, I was shocked at how much of that couple's relationship was covered in that book. It was crazy, but it definitely was funny, and it was cute, and it was sad. It was all the things. And so I'm excited to read The Friend Zone. It's in the same series, I think, as the Happy Ever After playlist, but it's like a romance series where you don't have to read them necessarily in order, or you don't have to read all of them to be able to follow along. So I'm excited to read that for Mo's baking book club. And then The Goblin Emperor is our pick for Fantasy Over Everything for Christine's book club. And I'm excited to get into that. I don't really know much about it, but we always have a good time. So I'm excited for that one as well. And then the last book that I am hoping to read this year, and I do have the audiobook for this on Scribd or Everand, as I think it's now going by, and that is Divine Rivals. I have heard obviously so much about this book, and it has letter writing, and it's a fantasy, and it's a love story, and it just sounds like all good things. And so I really hope I like it because it seems like everybody likes it. But yeah, I'm excited to get to that one as well. And I have read A River Enchanted and A Fire Endless by Rebecca Ross, and I liked those. I mean, they were kind of, they don't super stick in my mind, but I liked them while I was reading them. So I think I like her writing generally. So I'm hoping that I like that one as well. Okay, the last question is, have you already started making reading plans for 2024? I'm just looking at my notes so I don't forget anything. So obviously I'm going to continue in the House of Mass along because it's been such a fun time, and the third Crescent City book comes out in January, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to finish all of the books by then, but I certainly will be buying the newest book because, you know, I do plan to read them all. Also, just generally continue series that I have started. So the Veronica Speedwell series I started this year, would love to continue with that. The Blood Mercy series, I'm very excited to continue with that. They're just so big, and I've just been intimidated to keep going, even though I loved the first book and I know that they're going to be great, and I loved reading about those characters, so I'm really excited to continue with that. Maybe if I order those books, it'll make me want to read them. That's a good idea. Okay, and then Shadow of the Gods is another first book in a series that I read this year that I would like to read the second book for. I don't think there's a third book yet, but yeah, I would still like to read the second one. As far as other reading plans go, I don't really have anything concrete. I know I will be continuing in the book clubs that I have been participating in this year, and then, I don't know, just kind of read more of what I think I'll really love. I think I'll continue reading a lot of fantasy, always romance. I don't know that I've read as many mysteries or thrillers this year as I have in the past, so maybe kind of incorporating more of those. It's really hard when you're interested in most genres, like finding the time to read all of them, I feel like can be a struggle sometimes, and not just reading one thing when you get on a kick of that. So yeah, you know, just more balance as always, and finding more books that I really love. But I'm hoping to make more videos next year. That's not necessarily reading plans, but video plans. I would love to make more. So if you have any ideas, this is just like a little tack on at the end, but if you have any ideas for videos that would be fun to make for me or to watch for you, I would love to know. Especially starting out, I think, you know, I could use all of the ideas. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in a video very soon. Bye!